Hi, it's Alex. I'm coming back home right now and I want to show you this video where I put together audiences so your Facebook ads can really work for you. So let's go straight in. The path is clear. So we're talking about targeting for Facebook ads today, and targeting is basically an audience that you need to show your Facebook ads to. So for that, it determines who will see your ads. So when you create your audience, you're specifying to Facebook who will see your ads, who Facebook will show your ads to. Is one of the keys to effective advertising on any platform. So targeting or creating audiences is not something you only do on Facebook. You can do it on Google Ads, you can do it on other platforms as well. And it's very important to define the audiences effectively to get the right results. It should have the attributes of your perfect client or avatar. So your audience, when you build it, it should have those attributes. We're going to talk about this in a minute. And it should be very specific, or as specific as possible, so you don't waste money. In essence, if you're showing your ads to the right people, then you're spending your money wisely. Otherwise, you're wasting your money. That's what I'm trying to say. To create your targeting or your audiences for Facebook ads, the first thing you need to do is you need to know who your perfect buyer or avatar is. Is it male or is it female? What age? What brands or gurus does he or she follow? Are they homeowners? Are they parents, students? What type of people are we talking about? You have to define it to the nth degree, if you like, as defined as possible. Ages, gender, brands or gurus they follow, whether they are homeowners, whether they're students, whether they're rent. These type of things are important, and Facebook helps you define all these things because it has categories that you can use. So one of the tips that you can do in this case, one of the tips that you can use in this case is to use the audience insights and Google. Those are tools that are really valuable for this, and we're going to talk about that in a following video. So if you want to talk about or you want to see more about avatars, watch my video, how I reached $100,000 in sales using Shopify and Facebook ads with lookalike audiences. And there's going to be a link below the video. The first thing we need to talk about is the saved audiences. And saved audiences are the basic audience that you define when you define an ad. And we're going to look at that in a second on Facebook. These saved audiences are based on interests, like, for example, kite surfing magazine, chihuahuas, aviators, sunglasses, and these are just a couple, or maybe three actually. You have to be very specific. You have to define, as you can see, I'm not just saying surfing, I'm not saying dogs, and I'm not saying sunglasses. You have to be specific because, again, if you define your audience very carefully, then you're spending your money showing the ads to the right people. Behaviors. One of the behaviors that you can also use is purchase behaviors, which points to engaged shoppers in the case that we're going to see in a minute. And lastly, demographics, like parents with toddlers age 1 to 2. Like I said, be specific. You can't say just parents because that is a very wide range of people who have children who can be of any age. One tip here is test your competitor or market leader brands as an interest. So for instance, if you sell sunglasses, then test with Sunglass Hut. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go on to Facebook ads, the ads manager. And in ads manager, I'm going to define an audience. So using the principles that I just talked about, this is an ad that I created for a previous video. I'm going to go and edit it. This is an ad set. In the ad set is where you define what audience you're aiming these ads to. So click on the edit button here, and that takes us straight into defining the ad set characteristics. The ad set name, the budget and schedule. We're going to skip all that because I covered that in a separate video. You can find that video in the notes. And this is where we define the audience. So you can see audience is one of the important sections in the ad set. The first thing you need to define is what is the location these people are living in or they're based in. In this particular case, I'm selecting the United States. You can select any country, or you can also you can browse and you can select countries, regions, and save locations as well. Then you need to define the age. And like I said before, we need to talk about specific ages. For instance, if we're talking about parents, or not parents in this case, it could be parents, but it's not necessarily for the market that I'm talking about, which in this case is related to selling sunglasses. I'm looking at people who are between 25 and 55 years old. The gender, in this case, is women because the product caters for women. But if you don't know the gender exactly of your audience and you're testing and you're trying to find out exactly what gender responds better to your audience, to your product and your ads, then you can select all. I'm going to stay with women in this case because the product is aimed at women. And I'm selecting the language those people are speaking. So that is also part of the definition of the avatar. Then we come down to the detailed targeting. And in here is where we define the interest, the behaviors, and the demographics. Part of the demographics we've defined already by indicating the ages and the gender and the location. We're going to talk about demographics a little bit more right now. So I'm looking at interest in this case, and the interest, like I recommended, if we're selling sunglasses, like in this particular case, then you can use Sunglass Hut as one of the interests, and sunglasses because it makes my audience a little bit bigger in this particular case. If you look in this pane right here, it says that my audience at the moment, the way it is defined, is 2.7 million people. And for this particular initial approach to the ad, then that could be okay. But we're going to talk about sizes of audiences when we talk about the Audience Insights tool. If you need to add any more interests, you can either type them in to see if Facebook recognizes them, recognizes the interest as an actual interest that you can target. You can click on suggestions, and based on what you've entered up here, Facebook is going to recommend a few others, like Ray-Ban Wayfarer or Optician or Engaged Shoppers, things like that, basically related to what I've typed in at the top. Or you can go browse, and you can go interests, and select in, for instance, in shopping and fashion down here. You can go fashion accessories, and you can see that sunglasses is already selected, but you can also go and select other things, like in this case, well, I'm preempting myself, but I'm saying in outdoor and recreation, maybe surfing, because the sunglasses are ideal for surfing. So let's leave it at that for now. The next step is to go is to go with other options, like for instance, behaviors, and click on the browse button, select behaviors, and in there is where I find there's a lot of behaviors that you can choose from, but there's a couple down here that are interesting. There's purchase behavior, which has a lot of options which look very interesting, like for instance, purchase types, and you can see that people can buy things like beauty accessories. If you select beauty accessories in there, it's good. It looks like it's a very good interest to select, but your audience contains, Facebook is telling me that my audience contains interest, behaviors, or demographics which will soon no longer be available on our platform. So Facebook is removing all these purchase behaviors, as I said, for reasons of privacy that have something to do with this scandal that happened not too long ago. So I'm not going to select beauty accessories, but there's another one within behaviors, that is purchase behavior spelled differently, where I find engaged shoppers, and that one is not going to disappear. So I'm selecting engaged shoppers because that tells me that these people have clicked on a call to action button, shop now, in the past week. So it means that there are people who are more inclined to shopping than just browsing. And lastly, I'm going to select another option in here. Like you can see here, I've selected some targeting at the top that is related to interests. And this is an or selection because it's either one or the other, Sunglass Hut or sunglasses, and must also be engaged shoppers, and must also have interest in fitness and wellness, which is running in this case. But you can also look at demographics, and within demographics you can look at education, financial, for instance, looking at income, which probably will disappear soon as well. Let's have a look if that's going to disappear. If I select income like that, nope, that is not going to, yes, it is going to disappear. So this is one of the things that will go away in the near future. I think that is around, it says down here that is up to 1st October 2018. So if you put it in your audience on 1st October 2018, that's going to be removed from your audience automatically. So these are the types of demographics that you can select. And once you've got all that information in there, what you can do is you can come here and save the audience. You can give it a name, and this is sunglasses, engaged shoppers, running. So I can just put a comma in there to make it easier to read. And it basically saves all the attributes of the audience that I just created. I click on save, and that has become a saved audience right now. And when you come back to the ad set, you can see that the audience has been saved with this name, and it locks the option to change the attributes of that audience. If you want to, you can always click on the edit button. And if you want to select another saved audience, you can come here, select their down arrow, and because I have only one saved option in this test environment, that's the only one you can see. But basically, this is saved audiences. Custom audiences can be created using different parameters and different options that Facebook offers. So I'm going to go through each one of them. Just note that the ones that I'm going to be showing in blue are the most common ones. The first one and the easiest one is to upload a customer file. So if you have a customer file that you can upload onto Facebook, then Facebook is going to try to match the people in your customer file to users on Facebook. And it's going to be using different attributes like email, phone numbers, and different information that Facebook holds on their users. And they're going to try to match it. So if you upload, for instance, a list of 1,000 people, Facebook may match maybe 800 or 700 of those people, because maybe you don't have the right email address for that person, or not the email address that that person used for Facebook, or some people may not be Facebook users to begin with. And just to clarify, this is a static audience. This is an audience that once you upload, it stays static on Facebook. You can upload the information from a CRM or customer relationship management, from an email service like MailChimp, which interfaces directly to Facebook in this case, which is the only email service that does this, or you can upload other lists that you can have on a CSV type file or a comma delimited file or an Excel file that you export as a CSV. One tip here is to use lifetime value for the customers or high value customers for better results. So lifetime value basically is a customer that has bought or purchased from you more than once. Then you need to include all the total purchase that this customer has had in their lifetime in the file that you're uploading to Facebook. And the other one is to use only high value customers. If you have a list of customers that have really been loyal to you, that have been doing high purchases from you, that have spent a lot of money in your business, then use those for better results, because Facebook is going to try and match people like that when you create your lookalike audiences. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. And another tip is to use Google Ads to generate an email list if you don't have one yet. So if you're just starting, what you can do is you can create a Google ad that goes to a landing page where people are asked to leave their email address to download something that is very related and very, very closely related to the product that you sell. So in that case, what you get is a targeted list of people who expressed an interest in the product that you're offering. And if you upload that list of email addresses onto Facebook, then you have a very good list of people who showed interest in your product, who you can target with Facebook ads. Another custom audience type is activity on your website using the Facebook pixel. So people who have bought from you from your website, who have downloaded something from your website, who have interacted with any page or product page on your website, then by using the Facebook pixel, you can create a list within Facebook of those people with different parameters that we're going to see in a minute. and target them with Facebook ads. Now, the Facebook pixel can be installed on your website very easily. If you have a WordPress website, there's plugins like Pixel Caffeine, for instance, that allow you to install the Facebook pixel very easily, and it has instructions for it. If you have Shopify, Shopify also has a field where you can enter the Facebook pixel that you have to create using Facebook tools within Facebook. And I'm going to show you in a sec where that is. Another option for custom audiences is an app or game activity. So people who have downloaded or interacted with an app or a game that you have. Offline activity, that is people who went to your store, to your physical bricks and mortar store, and you've probably offered them to leave their email for offers, or leave register with an email to get a 10% discount or something like that, in order for you to capture their details. So sometimes some stores have like an iPad or something like that, or a tablet, where you can enter your name, email address, phone number, or different details. If you can, if your system allows you, your point of sale system or your customer relationship management system allow you to capture that information and pair that with the purchase that these people have done, then what you have is offline activity that you can upload to a Facebook offline event from your point of sale or CRM system. And that allows you to target those people that have been to your store, that have already purchased from you, with different Facebook ads. And lastly, engagement on Facebook and Instagram, which is the most straightforward one, because Facebook knows exactly what happens on Facebook and Instagram being part of Facebook now. What you can tell is whether people have interacted with a post, with your page, if they liked, shared, or commented on a post, if they watched the video, how much they watched of the video, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go now to create a custom audience. For that, I'm in the asset library. In the Facebook Business Manager, you have a menu up here at the top that takes you to all the tools that are available. One of the options there is in Measure and Report, you can select pixels to create your pixel right there. Because I already have a pixel, then there's not much point to go there, because this account has one pixel created. You can only create one pixel per Facebook ads account. But what I want to show you in this case is going into assets and going into audiences. Click on audiences, and that's going to take me to the asset library screen that I was in, where I can create an audience. To do that, I click on this blue button, Create Audiences, and select Custom Audience. And that gives me all the options that I mentioned before. Customer file, website traffic, app activity, offline activity, and engagement on Facebook or Instagram. The first one I'm going to do is go customer file. And in here, it gives you three options. One is to import from MailChimp directly, by which you just enter your login credentials and log into MailChimp and select the list you want to import from. Or you can add customers from your own file or copy and paste data. And the third option is to include a lifetime value for better performing lookalikes, which is the tip that I gave you in the previous slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with add customers from your own library. Sorry, I'm going to go with LTV because that's what I recommend. Things to know about value-based custom audiences. You should use custom audiences if you're an advertiser, an agency, or data provider, so on and so forth. And you obviously have to have the permission to have their email address. So that's why I was saying that you need to capture the information from your possible customers using Google Ads or using different means that allows them to know that you're already going to be using their email addresses or the details. So I click on Accept. And this is just the guided process to upload the list. And Facebook is telling me that you can add a file with your customer data and you use one or more of the customer identifiers like email address, phone numbers, and it gives you examples of each one of the fields that you may have on your file. You can also include a column with a range of customer values, which is what I mentioned. It's the lifetime values, all the purchases that these customers have done from you. And then you have to select the origin of this upload. So it's from customers and partners, directly from customers, or from partners. So in this case, I'm going to select directly from customers, select the upload file option, and I have a list here with Shopify customers. So basically I exported this list from Shopify and created a list with customers with the lifetime value in up to the 30th of June 2018, so not too long ago. Click on open. Facebook has accepted my file. It's given it a name directly based on the file name, but it doesn't have to be like that. Shopify customers with LTV, I'll remove export and I'll say 30 June 18 to make it a little bit shorter. And I click on next. Now I need to choose my customer value column, select the value column, and that is total spent in my case. Click on next. And I can preview and map my identifiers. So customer value is already mapped, and that's a green bar in here. First name I want to upload, and that is first name. Last name I want to upload that too, and that is surname. Email address has already been mapped to email address. I don't want to upload company. Address, I don't have an option to upload address. Nope. But I do have an option to upload the city. Let's keep on scrolling down, because the more fields I map to Facebook, the more chances are that Facebook is going to recognize those as Facebook users or not. Then I have the county or region, which is the state in this case. I have a state code, which I'm not going to be using because I've already mapped it to county region here. And country code. I think I have a country is already mapped. So I don't need to map the country code. I have the zip code or postcode that goes in zip code, postcode here. And then accepts marketing, the total number of orders, all this information is not relevant. So I'm going to upload and create, which is the button down here at the bottom. These are the columns that have been mapped and will be uploaded. So click on upload and create, and now Facebook is uploading the audience data. So I'm going to let it happen. It shouldn't take too long. My file was uploaded. It had 17 rows. I would recommend a larger file than 17. 17 is a very small custom audience. I wouldn't go with that. So now I get an option from Facebook to create a lookalike, which I'm not going to take right now. I can always do that later. So I'm going to cancel this. The file has already been uploaded. The audience has been already created. And I can see it's here, Shopify customers with LTV 30 June 2018. I'm going to create other custom audiences just to show you what they look like. We've done the customer file. We can do website traffic. Website traffic is the one that needs the pixel installed on your website, like we talked about before. It includes people who meet any of the following criteria or all of the following criteria. Let's go with any to make it easier for now. In here is where my pixel is described. So it's telling me what pixel is going to create a custom audience on. And I can select in here the conditions that I want the audience to comply with. So I can select all website visitors in the past 30 days, or I can select people who visit specific web pages. I can specify what pages that is. Visitors by time spent, how much time they spent on a particular website or page. And then I can also select people who have done certain events, like viewed a page, viewed content, viewed a certain category, added to cart if I have an e-commerce website, viewed cart, initiate checkout, or purchase altogether. So it's very, very powerful because I can say, I want this audience to see, to contain everybody who's purchased from my website in the past 30 days, or in the past 60 or 90 days. And this is where you define the length of the day, the length of the period of time that has passed. And Facebook gives you an option in here to see what each field means. And in this case, the maximum time is 180 days. So what I was saying is that if I select the bottom option, I can say, okay, I want people who have purchased from me in the past 30 days. And I can always refine this by using certain URLs or parameters, an aggregated value or a device. You can include more and exclude, just like we talked about in the audiences. You can include more, so another condition, or you can exclude based on certain conditions. People who have purchased in the past 30 days, but not in the past 15 days, for instance. Then you name the audience. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to close this. Then you name the audience at the end, and this is purchase past 30 days. And that creates my audience. Click on create audience, and the audience is done. Your custom audience was created, and you can do other things that Facebook suggests you can do here. So I'm going to cancel. My audience has already been created. I'm going to go with another custom audience now. This custom audience is not going to be based on customer file or website traffic. I'm going to skip these two because they're for another story, for another day. And I'm going to go with engagement. Engagement, you have so many possibilities because you can select people who have engaged with the video that you have on your page, that you have that people have watched the video for a certain length of time. I'm going to show you in a sec. People who have entered the details in a lead form, if you had a lead ad on Facebook in the past. People who have opened your collection ad or canvas on Facebook. People who have interacted with your page on Facebook. People who have interacted with your Instagram page, or people who have interacted with your events on Facebook. So the Instagram business profile and the Facebook page are not too difficult. I just want to go with video because it's one of the ones that are less often used. So I'm clicking on that, and I'm going to select engagement. When I click on engagement, I have several options to choose from, and it depends on how long the people have interacted with my video. And the more they interact with the more I interact with the video, the more engaged they are with the product or with whatever the video is talking about. So I can say people who have viewed at least 3 seconds of your video. It's very easy to watch 3 seconds of a video because if you scroll slowly and you don't stop, that is 3 seconds sometimes. If you want people who are really engaged with your product and what you're talking about in your video, then you probably want to go with something like 50, 75, or 95% of your video. Let's go with 95% of the video. Then you choose your video here. It basically takes you to a list of Facebook pages that you can select from, or from Instagram business profiles that you want to select from. And then you can choose from the different videos that you have available on that page. So I'm going to select this first video here, and I'm going to click on confirm. Then the question is, how long do you want these people to have interacted in the past how many days? That's the question. So let's say 30 days, because that is people who have watched this video, 95% of it, in the past 30 days, they have it fresh in their minds probably. If I want to be even fresher, then I would go with 15 days. And the audience name is watched 95% of video X 15 days. And you can create the audience by clicking on create audience button. Thanks for creating a custom audience. I can click on next, and I can click on done, and it's all done. It's going to take a little bit. As you can see, it says populating with the audiences that I've recently created. It's not telling me the size of the audience yet because it's still populating. So you have to leave it for a few minutes until Facebook finishes creating the audiences that you've just defined. Lastly, I want to show on custom audiences, I want to show you the engagement with a Facebook page, for instance. Similar with Instagram, you select the Facebook page you want in here, and you can say everyone who engaged with your page, or anyone who visited your page, people who engaged with any post or ad, people who clicked with any call to action button, people who sent a message to your page, and people who saved your page or any post in the past 365 days, or 30 days in this case. So let's go with people who have visited my page, and I want to include more people who sent a message to your page in the last 30 days. So that is people who are really engaged with my page. They not only visited, but they also sent a message to my page. I want to create an audience with these people and say visited and messaged Facebook page 30 days and create the audience. Click on done. And you have 4 audiences created or populating at the moment. Let's talk about lookalike audiences now. Lookalike audiences are based on a custom audience with a minimum size of 100 people. So the custom audience that you base your lookalike audience on has to be at least 100 people. And probably I should start by saying what a lookalike audience is. I think I didn't mention that before. A lookalike audience is like, because it's based on a custom audience, it's an audience that Facebook goes out and tries to find a certain number of people that have the same characteristics of the audience that you're basing it on, or the same characteristics of the seed audience, in this case, a custom audience. It's also defined by location or locations, and it uses 1 to 10% of the total Facebook users in that location. So a tip here is to split test all the percentage intervals, and hopefully all that is going to make sense now when I go and create a lookalike audience. For that, what I can do is I can select one of the audiences that I just created, purchased in the past 30 days, for instance. This is people who have bought something from me or from my website or from my client's website in the past 30 days. So I'm going to select that, and instead of going create audience, lookalike audience, which is an option to start from scratch, I'm going to select actions here and go create lookalike. Because I've already selected an audience, I'm going to create a lookalike audience based on the purchase past 30 days. So the source, it says in here, is purchase past 30 days. Like I said, if you go the other way with the blue button, then you have to enter the audience name here. Location, I'm going to select United States. But you can go browse and you can select from countries or regions. You can select the lookalike audience that is based on the population of the United States and Canada, for instance, in which case we're going to talk about an audience that is much bigger than just selecting from one country. And then I want to go and click on this show advanced options down here, because I don't want to go and select one lookalike audience. I want to go and create a few lookalike audiences. And Facebook already recommends that I create 3 to start with. And it says create an audience that is 0 to 1% of the population that is Facebook user in these 2 countries. An audience that is between 1 and 2% of those countries, that is 2,390,000 people, and an audience that is between 2 and 5%. I'm going to shrink this to 3%. So now I have from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3. And Facebook is telling me what audiences is going to create down here and how big those audiences are going to be. You can imagine that if I remove, for instance, Canada from here, my estimates go down. And that's it. All I need to do now is click on Create Audience, and Facebook is going to create those 3 audiences for me. Takes a few seconds, and here you are. Facebook has created lookalike US 1 to 2%, 2 to 3%, and 1%. And it's updating the audience. It's not telling me the size yet, but we know the size approximately because we already saw that in the previous screen. And this is it. This is custom audiences, saved audiences, and lookalike audiences, I would say, in a nutshell. Hopefully you're still hanging on in there. If you're still there, then I would say, why don't you just subscribe using the button below, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos that I'm going to be releasing. Next video is going to be about audience insights. You're going to be able to see all that if you subscribe. Otherwise, come back to the channel and you'll see it next week. that's it for now. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, like it or leave a comment and let me know if there's anything else that you would like to learn about, and I'll make a video on that. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.